So the LA Lakers, they've been a pretty on and off team this season. Overall, they are 23 and 26 to start out the season in the first half, and they are basically out of the play-in contention right now. So it really raises the question if the Lakers are pretty much a team that can compete for the NBA Finals. Now, I'm going to be entering it here in this video because, the Lakers, as of late, actually haven't been looking too bad. They did lose against the Clippers and Sacramento, but they did win against teams like Portland, Memphis. Both teams have been pretty great. They lost. They have been losing some pretty hefty games like to Philadelphia, to Dallas, to Denver. But, this team fully healthy is definitely one of the more scarier teams in the NBA. And today we're going to talk about if the Lakers can still make it to the NBA Finals, because there may be some hope with LeBron playing at his highest level I've seen him in a while. Westbrook thriving off the bench and AD coming back from an injury. We'll see what happens. So we'll get into it right now. So we'll start off with the question of, can they compete against the best teams in the NBA? So we'll look at the overall standings in the league, and we'll basically compare them to some teams here overall. So we got Boston, Philadelphia, Milwaukee, Brooklyn, Cleveland, Miami. For the East, these are all 6 teams in the playoff contention right now. And for the West, we got Denver, Memphis, Sacramento, New Orleans, LA, Clippers, and Dallas Mavericks. So we'll go over the West first because it makes a lot of sense here. So Denver, they have Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray. Now, obviously, they're one of the best, if not the best team in the NBA right now. But the Lakers, LeBron James, he matches up well against this Denver team. The 3 for them is Michael Porter Jr., I want to say. So, A. Disney, Anthony Davis playing the 4 or the 5, and then Thomas Bryant playing the 5, depending on what happens. But, against Denver, maybe it's a possibility. Same thing with Memphis. They do have John Morant and Jaren Jackson Jr., but looking at the Lakers and comparing them to teams in the top 6, they could most definitely beat Dallas, even the Clippers. The reason they lost against the Clippers that one game recently is because the Clippers were hot from 3, but the Lakers were still in that game until the fourth quarter. Really, the thing for the Lakers is defense. Transition defense is a really weak thing for them, but they were a pretty good defensive team to start out the year, and now they're more of an offensive oriented team. But they're not too far off in terms of defense still too. So yeah, looking at the East, against Boston, Philadelphia, Milwaukee, Brooklyn, probably none of these teams. Maybe against Cleveland and Miami, I can see it, but we can't really tell too much about the East because unless the Lakers make the finals, then they're not really touching any East team here. So yeah, the Lakers, obviously they have a good team constructed around LeBron, around Anthony Davis, around Russell Westbrook. Yes, they have a lot of pretty good role players in Schroeder and Thomas Bryant. Bryant's probably their best player besides the 3 on the team that already are pretty good. But, outside of that, Winning Gabriel's a pretty okay guy. Even guys like Austin Reeves, he's pretty good. He's been pretty underrated for this team. Lonnie Walker is still injured, I want to say. And, that's pretty much it, I want to say. Even guys like Troy Brown Jr. actually hasn't been too bad, too. So, yeah, in terms of playoff contention, and maybe finals hopes, I can definitely see it. The problem here is that the Lakers are very inconsistent with their roster overall. Anthony Davis, I think just right when he got back into game time action last game, he did get injured. So, if Davis can stay healthy for at least a full season, or at least somewhat healthy, then this team is definitely going to be a lot better than what they are right now. They would definitely be overachieving what they are right now because of Anthony Davis. He's a pretty important player for their defense, especially being their defensive anchor, someone that can space the floor and be, basically that rim running guy that can protect the perimeter, protect the interior, and just be a glue guy. And with LeBron being 38, he's going to carry the offense without him, so it's definitely a lot more difficult. But with certain circumstances, I definitely think this team can go pretty far. So yeah, like I said, AD, he needs to be healthy for them to at least compete. LeBron and Westbrook, they both need to play at their highest levels if they want to at least touch the finals. So looking at LeBron's stats overall this season, he's been absolutely killing it in like the last 10 games. So And also at age 38, I mean, he's been one of the surprises, not even a surprise, but he's been a really fun player to watch as of late. And I mean, over the season, 30 points per game, 8.5 rebounds, 7 assists, 1 steal on 51 from the field and 30 from three. Obviously, the three ball hasn't been great. I mean, his three ball is pretty much cooked this season, but I mean, regardless, he's been putting up some numbers, and in the last 10 games, 34 points per game, around 9.5 rebounds and 8 assists with a steal on around 50% from the field and 32 from three. Like I said, the three ball probably is going to be cooked for the rest of the season, but I mean, LeBron, he's been one of, if not the best guys on the court as of late. I mean, he's been keeping the Lakers in some pretty tough games, and whenever they need a bucket, I mean, LeBron's going to be there. So looking at Russell Westbrook's stats overall, he's been actually thriving as a six man, and him accepting this role is definitely helping the Lakers at least stay in some of these games. But I mean, he should be the front runner for the six man of the year. Overall, he's averaging around 16 points per game, 6 rebounds, and around 7.5 assists on around 42 from the field and 29 from three. Obviously, the efficiency isn't quite there and not really what you want it to be, but at least he's putting up stats, and at least he's being that spark guy off the bench that they need. Because obviously, looking at the bench, I mean, there's not really too many guys that can score other than Russell Westbrook. So, I mean, role players on this team, other than Westbrook off the bench, are capable of scoring. I mean, guys like Troy Brown Jr., like I said, has a potential to become a pretty good three-point shooter. Lonnie Walker, whenever he played, he was putting up some pretty good stats in terms of scoring. And I think that's pretty much it. I mean, Thomas Bryant, he's also pretty good too. I haven't even gone into Rui Hachimura yet, who definitely has a lot of potential to become a pretty good wing for this team. Now, I think it was a great pickup. I mean, trading Kendrick Nunn, who wasn't really playing too well, and 3 second-round picks for a guy that has a pretty high ceiling and someone that has a lot of potential. I mean, Rui, he's only, like 24 years old too, so they can definitely keep him for the future and be a part of the core. So we'll see what happens here. I mean, the Lakers, in my eyes, are definitely one of the best teams whenever they're healthy. The problem is that they're never healthy, and Russell Westbrook is pretty inconsistent. So the inconsistencies on this team are pretty consistent on this team. I mean, the inconsistencies are pretty consistent, if that makes sense. But yeah, I mean, the Lakers, obviously, with LeBron getting old, they're going to be looking to rebuild sometime next season or the season after that, with him being around like 39 to 40 years old. So they're going to be looking towards the future. AD might be the center guy on the team. If not, he already is the center guy on this team, and someone that's going to be holding the keys for years to come. And with their 2025 and 2027 first-round picks, I want to say, they should be pretty set for the future. Now, obviously, if they do decide to trade them in like a Russell Westbrook trade, I mean, that might be a different thing for another time or another video for another time. But I mean, for right now, they do have both their first-round picks, their latest first-round picks. And as of right now, I mean, the West is a lot more weaker. So if they can get pretty high up in the standings, I mean, maybe 9th or 10th, I want to say, be in the play-in, maybe be out some playing teams and then get into the playoffs. I mean, that's probably what they're going to be looking like. And even in the playoffs, they can definitely make some noise. I mean, if they make it in as the 8th seed and upset the first seed, I mean, that could definitely happen with this team. I mean, I can definitely see it being Denver versus Lakers. That could be a good series where the Lakers can upset Denver with Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray. So we'll see what happens. In terms of finals appearances, it's going to be a tough road. I definitely think it's going to be a tough road. But like I said, the West is weak. It's pretty weak compared to previous years. I mean, teams like the Dallas Mavericks as a 6th seed. Come on now. There's just no way. So, yeah, you guys can let me know what you guys think about the Lakers. I mean, they definitely have potential to become a great team. Even with LeBron being very old and one of the oldest players in the league right now, they have a lot of potential. They just need to capitalize on it. Hopefully they can stay healthy, specifically to Anthony Davis. But yeah, that's the end. Peace.